Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm in a dock door because I pull a reefer trailer. Frozen food delivery this morning. Did 3 loads this week. Should have went home after the second load, probably, but if you want big revenue, you gotta work for it. There's no gimmies in trucking, and that's the way I structure my business. So I did the first 2 loads, had pretty good revenue. I was in Minneapolis, could have went home, said let's go for big money. Let's do another load this week. And that's why I'm here in Ohio in a dock door at 4:30 in the morning. So we'll get into the weekly recap here in a second. I just want to go over a few things real quick. Number one, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up at the end if you don't mind, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. We do this every week, good, bad, and different. I do a weekly recap every week. I've got nothing to gain. I don't recruit for a company, so my numbers are my numbers. I'm not here to try to impress you. I'm not here to try to outdo you. If you make more money than me, I am very happy for you. There's no hate here. No arguing, keep it clean in the comments. Come join me for a live show. I do a ton of lives. I really enjoy them. Also, check out the Mudflap app. I'm saving tons of money with Mudflap right now. Sign up. $10 off your first fill up if you use my promo code, so check that out. And, I want to talk a little bit about trucking and trucking in general. I've got a lot of new guys coming in and checking out the channel, and I appreciate you guys, commenting, liking, subscribing, doing all that fun stuff. So stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to try to do some stuff geared toward the newer guys and give you more of an idea of what reefer is about. But also, this channel is about helping people go from company driver to owner operator, preferably missing the pitfall of lease purchase, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I like to do. So if you have any questions, I try to answer them in the comments. If it's a little personal question you don't want to get to in the comments, by all means, just shoot me an email. That's in the description as well. Check out, I'm on Twitter now. Check that out for what it's worth. But anyway, I just want to help guys in the industry that, because I think back like when I was new to the industry, YouTube wasn't like it is now. There wasn't 800 trucking channels out there, on how to dolly down a trailer in a pair of booty shorts. You know what I mean? All that information wasn't out there. So I'm trying to bring you like the things you need to know. It's much easier. I mean, who doesn't like learning from other people versus having to make your own mistakes? You know what I mean? I'm real bad about that. Like, for some reason, I love making mistakes and learning from them. Whereas I should just, do more research on YouTube, and I wouldn't do this. Like, I've done lease purchase twice and failed at it twice. So, people think I'm a lease purchase hater, and I kind of am, because I don't think it's set up for, I don't think it's set up to win. It's not for owner operators. If you want to be an owner operator, go back and check out my video, company driver to owner operator, and that's kind of how I think you should go about it. That's the best advice I can give you. I've got a pretty detailed plan in that video on how to make the revenue that I make. Other than hard work, there's not a whole lot to this revenue. The profit side is a little bit more refined, and I'll get into that more as well. So let's go over this week. Let's get into this week. I want to talk about this week a little bit, because this was a good week to describe what goes on in trucking. For most guys, if you're a company driver, you're putting in the same amount of work I'm putting in here. And you can level up and do lease purchase sometimes and make more than a company driver. It's not a guarantee. Just like being an owner operator is not, leased on to somebody who's not a guarantee you make more money than a company driver. Having your own authority is not a guarantee that you make more than somebody that's leased on somewhere. There are no guarantees in trucking. But I will tell you this, you do have a much better chance of making more money if you go buy your own truck. It's just the facts. I've ran the numbers a million different ways. I seen a lease purchase rental type deal where the payment was $1,400 the other day. Guys, that is, that is over $6,000 a month, $6,000, $6,120 is what that comes out to. Like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Just go buy a truck. Just go buy a truck. I can't say that enough. But anyway, enough ranting and raving. Let's get to this money. let's get to the money. That's what I like. Where's the money at? So I did 3 loads this week. You know, if you watch me, you know if I do 3 loads, it's been a pretty good week, because typically I do 1 load out of Minnesota to somewhere and then a load back from somewhere to Minnesota. So, like I said, 3 loads this week. Number 1, really good revenue, really good load in general. $5,000 revenue load. It was heavy. It weighed like 44,000 pounds. It was a do not freeze. It was a beverage load for a major soda company. And that went from Minnesota to Pennsylvania. Total miles on that, I was into that one, 1,183 miles all in. So really good revenue on that one. Paid some tolls on that one. You know, do what you got to do when you go to Pennsylvania. Sometimes you got to pay some tolls. And it was a tight space load, so I didn't have time to go around the Indiana toll road. So I had to pay to ride. Come down, second load, pulling back out of Pennsylvania was 1 pick, 4 drops on that one, 2 in Wisconsin, 2 in Minnesota, and that load paid $3,000. And so right there, I was back at the house with $8,000 in revenue in like 5 days. You know, could have took the time off. I said, no. I need that big number for that YouTube thumbnail, right? No, I'm just kidding. You know, anytime I can add, because basically at that point my week is so paid for, everything else on top of it is just, you know, it's gravy. It's like, you know, a little bit for fuel, a little bit for, you know, tolls or whatever. Like on this final load coming back, I'd bought fuel on the previous load, just filled up, so I ran this load all the way down without even buying fuel. Now I used fuel, but I didn't buy any. But I spent $32 in reefer fuel and $8 in tolls on that, and it was a $2,800 load. So I'm leased to a 80-20 split carrier. So the way that works is they get 20%, I get 80%. So that load paid $2,800. My cut of it was $2,240 to the truck, and I had $32 in reefer fuel, and I had $8 in tolls, which comes out to $40 in expenses on that load. And like I said, it paid $2,240 to the truck, so that's a nice even $2,200 worth of gravy right on top of the week right there, you know. So sometimes you got to sacrifice. Now, don't get me wrong, I would have loved to spend 2 or 3 days at the house while I was there, but you know, I'm basically like 700 miles from the house, so I can run right back if I want to. And you know, you got those options when, you know, you own your own truck, because more than likely you get to pick where the truck goes and where it doesn't go. You get to pick when you stay out, when you want to go home, that type of thing. And you know, most of the time, if you own your own truck versus lease purchase, you don't have this giant $1,400 a week anvil hanging over your head. So you can actually go home, or you can choose to make, you know, over 10 grand in revenue for a week. There's not many lease purchases out there you're going to get to 10 grand in revenue. You're just not, I mean, like consistently. So anyway, those were my 3 loads. I went from Minnesota over to the Allentown area, back to Minneapolis, back to, like, I'm in the Dayton, Ohio area right now. So total revenue $10,800 for a week. Nice. I love revenue weeks like that, because I got a low overhead. So when I can knock out a huge revenue, it's an amazing thing. So 80-20 split carrier, $10,800 to the carrier. That puts $8,640 to the truck. And let me go over some numbers for that for you. That is all miles, $3.28 to the carrier. All miles, $2.63 to the truck. That is an amazing number to the truck. You know, you won't always see rates like this. Like, it's just not, you know, it's not how trucking is. We're in a really sweet spot right now. I did 3,290 total miles this week. 196 of that was deadhead. That's 6% deadhead. I did 3,094 loaded miles. That's 350 a mile loaded miles. So stellar week. I mean, I don't know if you can ask for much more. I do see diesel prices are going back up, so you know, that should affect the bottom line a little bit. But with rates like this, who cares if fuel goes up, you know, 15-20 cents a gallon? It's really not the end of the world. So let's go over my expenses. Now, for you guys new to the channel, I go over variable expenses. I don't go over fixed costs like truck payments, insurance, because all that varies. You can take my variable costs to give you an idea. I have a very fuel efficient truck. I was probably over 8 miles a gallon for the week, even pulling the heavy load out to Pennsylvania, because the load out weighed like 44,000. The four stopper coming back weighed like 25,000, and then the load back down to Ohio weighed about 15,000. So for people that think all reefer loads are super heavy, they're not. I pull a lot of very light loads. You know, you get a lot of like produce loads, or like these organic, you know, I put an organic lettuce load the other day. That was, it was only like 2 or 3 pallets. It weighed 1,300 pounds. That's been a few weeks back, but yeah, you know, not all reefer loads are super heavy. I think a lot of people get that conception in their head because they pull reefer as a company driver, and most of these contracts are heavy loads with reefer. You know, the meat loads, the you know, whatever. Those are heavy loads, you know, because they're contract loads. They get as much on the trailer as they can. A lot of the spot market freight is not as heavy as everybody thinks it is. So anyway, that was the weight of the loads. The first load was do not freeze. The second load was a 20-degree load, and the final load was -10 degrees. It was frozen food. So just go over that real quick for you. So I made really good fuel mileage this week, and I started my week with like almost a full tank, and I'm into the week on about a quarter of the tank, just to give you guys a heads up. So you would have to take my cost and put in your fixed cost, you know, afterwards. Like when I say, you know, my tagline at the end, to do what I got to do with, that's where you take over and you plug in your numbers. If you got a paid off truck, you know, if you plan on buying a truck with cash and owning it, well, then you ain't got a truck payment. You know, if you got cheap insurance, you got an older truck that's paid off, and you know, you ain't got very expensive insurance, then you can plug those numbers in. But if you got, you know, if you got a super high truck payment and super high insurance, you got to plug those numbers in. And along with other things, workman's comp, you know, things like that, you got to plug all that in. Just letting you know. But I got a very fuel efficient truck. I started my week almost full of fuel, ending the week on about a quarter of a tank. So diesel cost, very low for the week, very low. $797 in diesel. That's part of that Mudflap app right there, guys. Seriously, check it out. $797 on diesel, $87 on reefer fuel, $25 on DEF, $24 on cat scales, $235 on tolls. Oh, that breaks my heart, guys. I hate paying tolls. I hate paying tolls with a passion, but you know, sometimes you got to pay them. Sometimes you got to weigh out the cost of, is it worth going around? Do I have the time to go around? You know, what's my options? Sometimes you pay them. You know, to go to Pennsylvania and back from Minnesota, that's not too bad, I don't think. It's about average. So anyway, total variable cost, $1,168 total variable cost. We bring that $8,640 over from the revenue side to the truck. $8,640 revenue to the truck minus $1,168 variable cost is $7,472 left to do what I got to do with. Yeah, put in the work, guys. Get out of your lease purchase, go buy you a truck, a nice little fuel efficient truck, and you know, I always tell people my truck may not be the prettiest. It sure as heck ain't got no chrome on it, but boy, she gets like 8-something miles a gallon, and she puts a lot of money in the bank, and that's all I care about. I call her Betty White. If you guys ain't been around enough, I call my truck Betty White. I name all my trucks after women. I don't know, I just thought this one was a Betty White, you know what I mean? So that's a little thing I do there. Let me know what your truck is named. Drop me a comment down there. Let me know what you name your truck if you got a name on that joker. And, you know, check out one of these other videos. And until later, take care of each other out there.